The 2025 Bahrain Formula 1 Grand Prix is done and dusted, and it's 2 out of 3 races now that Oscar Piastri has delivered a perfect weekend. Well, in Shanghai it's not really that perfect. He didn't get the fastest lap, but here he did get all three of them: pole position, fastest lap, race win. Unfortunately though, he didn't lead all of the laps available, but he's the first repeat winner that we have this season, and a few things to talk about here, and let's get into it. Right from the get-go, from FP1, FP2, FP3, qualifying, Q1, Q2, Q3, and all the way up to the race, Oscar Piastri has delivered once again. It was he didn't really lead the whole 3 practices, but he was there. He was either in the top 2 or the top 3 at the very least. This type of pace is already expected from the McLarens, but most people didn't really expect Oscar to be the one McLaren who did it. Most of people expected Lando to do it, but Oscar, he delivered. One thing to note is that Oscar is slowly but surely catching up to Lando's amount of victories. Lando currently has 4 in 2024, and then 1 victory so far in 2025, and Oscar already has 4. So he's catching up with Lando. This is going to be another headache, but a good headache for McLaren, because they're going to have like 2 of the most formidable drivers out there, very ultra competitive, and McLaren, if they can keep up with the upgrades and the updates of the car, can stay at the front for the rest of the season. This is going to be such a good headache for McLaren to have. They're going to ultra competitive drivers that has this lust for wins, just victories after victory after victory for both Lando and Oscar. At some point during the weekend, the Bahrain weekend, I was thinking to myself, maybe we might have a 4th different winner in 4 races, and I thought it was going to be either George or Charles, but in the end it's Oscar. And boy, did a really perfect race. Even at some point during the race, I remember in the radio, Oscar's engineer was asking him about the drink. So Oscar just nonchalantly replied, yeah, it would be good if the drink system is actually working. And it's just he's just so chill at the front. I think the way he's so chill, that kind of dried the water down the tank. It's just so perfect. And now Oscar is just 3 points aback from Lando Norris. To be honest, from the get-go, I knew that McLaren will pull it off this season, but was it either Lando or Oscar? I lean more towards Oscar. Maybe got a bit of a more rawer pace, if you will, compared to Lando. Lando didn't win anything in the junior category, not in terms of race win. He did win some races, but in terms of championship, Lando didn't win any F3, Lando didn't win any F2, be it GP3 or GP2 back in the day. He was second to George in 2018. But Oscar, well, statistics speaks for itself. Oscar was the F3 champion in 20, and then of course F2 champion in 21. But well, he didn't really have that much money, so yeah, he got beaten to a seat by Guan Yu Zhou, who has a lot of money and can buy any seat available on the grid, despite not being an F2 champion. So yeah, I lean more towards Oscar winning the championship this season with McLaren, and it's gonna be such an interesting next race to see in Saudi, knowing that it's a street circuit, very tight and very twisty. I'm not really sure if it suits McLaren. I'm not really that savvy in terms of the technical aspect of things. I don't really know whether or not McLaren, the characteristic of the car, loves this type of long corner, but from Suzuka we can tell that they failed. They kind of failed. They didn't get pole position, because the characteristic of Suzuka with those long corners with the Saudi, I think it's pretty much similar in some areas, and we don't know. We might see another Max Verstappen surprise in Saudi. So the British Ministry of Defense is at it again. George Russell defending like crazy against Lando Norris. Especially, let's not forget the fact that George Russell was on the soft after the safety car mayhem. He pit and the team insisted that him using the soft set of tires, and not to mention the whole bunch of problem he was having, like the brake wire system issue, then the GPS failing a bit, the transponder thing as well. His name kept going down the tower from the time tower. It's just a whole bunch of problem, but again George is just defending really beautifully against Lando. Of course he's been racing Lando for years, and he knows Lando's tricks, what he got up his sleeve, and yeah, he perfectly denied another McLaren 1-2. Throughout the first 3 races, I'm not really sure if Ferrari have actually found something useful or solid, to be precise. The one-off in Shanghai with Lewis winning the sprint race, it's just a one-off, and after that, no, they both got disqualified in the main race, and even without the disqualification, it's not even really that good of a pace that they had. It wasn't like a podium pace or anything of some sort. Coming to Japan, still no improvement. There are some improvement, but it's just not really that crucial to be fighting for the top spot. With Charles ended up in P4 and Lewis in P7. Bahrain, I saw a glimpse of some solid ground, some solid improvements. Charles Leclerc, the fact that he was able to start P3 initially, because we know that both the Mercedes were dropped one grid position, and then Charles ended up inheriting the front row, starting alongside Oscar. But even then, throughout the race, Charles couldn't really keep up. He was inhabiting that 3rd place for, I think, like almost the entire duration of the race. But in the end, he gave the place to Lando, and Lando overtook him around the outside too. It was like an outstanding overtake from Lando. Also, the fact that Lewis just finished one spot behind Charles with a solid P5. As a Tifosi, I am still disappointed, but I can't really take anything more than this. It's already I think it's already a solid ground to build upon coming to Saudi next. Saudi hasn't been a really kind track for towards the Ferrari, especially since this new regulation. We can see that they got a double podium in 22, but then in 23 it was really ugly for them. A P6 and a P7, and then in 24 it was only a P3 for Charles, and with Carlos withdrawing from the weekend as a whole due to his appendicitis. And now coming to 25 with this solid improvement that I've seen from the Ferrari boys, I think Saudi is going to be a happy hunting ground for the Scarlet drivers. As if 1 week ago was just a total daydreaming, Red Bull, they were nowhere. They were absolutely lost in the desert. I can't really fathom how Max couldn't really pull together a good lap during Q3, making him only started from P7, and Yuki from P10. P10 or P9, I kind of forget already. It was devastating. We know Max's talent. He was behind Pierre up until the last part of the race. Speaking of Pierre was doing an absolutely phenomenal job keeping that Red Bull at bay up until like the last lap, where Max was like he had enough, and then he overtook Pierre, and then that's it. Pierre couldn't retaliate. A P6 in the context of the championship, whenever you can't really be on the podium, you need to really pick up the pieces. You need to really be there, keep scoring points, and see where that brings you by the end of the season. And Yuki on the other side of the garage, a P9. This is the first time ever a Red Bull second driver getting a point. Checo Perez, it was an absolute disgrace in the few races in the last few races of last season. Double retirements. The last time that Checo got a point was in Las Vegas, a P10. Liam, it's another retirement in the first race, and then the P12, and then another P12 for Yuki last week. And finally, a Red Bull second driver getting a point. I don't really have anything much to say about Red Bull. They need to change the fucking car. What is Christian Horner thinking about? The last news that I read, all four of the higher ups in Red Bull, the likes of Christian, Helmut, Pierre Vacher, and then the last one, I kind of forget the name. They had a meeting after the Bahrain Grand Prix to discuss a lot of things, I believe, especially the pit stop, the malfunction of the lights in the pit stop, costing both Max and Yuki some solid track position. Max having like a 6 second or so pit stop, Yuki 7 seconds or so, just because those malfunctioning lights. They really are getting lost, or are they? I don't know anymore. 2 races ago, Haas, they were on a double Haas delight, and they repeated again yesterday. When Esteban starting in P14 and then all the way back in P20, with the performance of the car in the first season, where they respectively just cruising around to the finish line outside of the point, I didn't really expect much from the Haas boys. I mean, P14 all the way up to P8, that's a solid drive from Esteban. And Ollie, it means he overtook like more or less 10 cars. He was starting in P20 and finishing all the way up in P10. 10 overtakes roughly. Let's not forget that the Haas has a technical partnership with Toyota Gazoo Racing. I don't really know to which extent it affected the car performance, but from the Bahrain weekend we can see that they're scoring another double point. It's just huge. It's just huge for this team, for Haas, which was absolutely lost during the whole preseason testing. If Haas can maintain this form of performance, I really believe with Esteban they can finally get that first tasty, juicy podium. This team has been on the grid since 2016, and not even a single podium that they have under their belt. Only one pole position, which was 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, if you will, with K-Mag, with that really lucky pole position when they were the only one running with the dry tires, and then the track suddenly got wet, and K-Mag already posted a lap time and a solid one, and then yeah, automatically nobody could beat him. But that's it. The only other time that Haas was starting from the front row, I think it was either 23 or 24, the Canadian Grand Prix with Hulk. Esteban is a winning driver. He already has 4 podiums up his sleeve, including that the first win in Hungary 2021. He does know what it takes to be on the podium, and I believe he can do it. But it will be even more surprising if Ollie was the one able to do it. And that's it. I think that I can talk not really that much. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and maybe have a bit of a civilized discussion, and then like and subscribe for more. And until we meet again,